We have the press here. We have 8 JPs. And we have 2 elected officials. 2 of our JPs on the finance committee are ill, under the weather, not well, and won't make it today. But I don't think we've got anything that's critical as far as an actual vote. Most everything that we do in this committee just moves to the full court anyway. So, in looking at the monthly financials, it was pretty simple and straightforward this time. A little bit long if you go by page numbers. They're usually about 108 pages or so long, and this one's over 130. But the first one that Kelly sent out has a lot of the backwards and forwards, the washing back to 2019 numbers in it, and it just made the columns a little bit longer than normal. All the elected officials running right on target. We're at 7%. County judge, clerk, circuit clerk, treasurer, collector, assessor, all running 7%, sheriff at 6%. County general running at 5%, county road at 6%. Solid waste never looks exactly right. I mean, it's real low, but it's because of the extra monies that we appropriate for stuff like the $2.2 million contract on open and sale 16. County jail funds at 6%. You know, in general, everything looks really good. It really does. Blytheville Courthouse construction, you know, we've appropriated $5,781,244.96 in this current budget, and $2 million on the Osceola courthouse construction project. We've got just a few little things of business. Kelly, in your email that you sent out, you had some things that you were trying to get information on. Were you able to pull those numbers together?
Yeah, I did get some of those. So for the compactor that they had at the landfill, the lease was up on that. And so that one was traded in for a new one. The payments are a little bit different. It's $1,606.96 a month more than the old compactor. So we need to appropriate $19,283.52 to make it through the end of the year for that payment. And then there was another agreement entered into for an excavator.
Is that with the road department, or?
That is for the road department.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And that amount is gonna be $28,1504 a month.
Okay, let's back up for just a second. The compactor at the landfill that we've been using, it was originally leased by Judge Randy Carney. I was talking to Justice Burge about the compactor, and when we first leased that compactor, it was too heavy to put out on the brand new landfill. The material was too shallow on top of the sealer that we put on the bottom. And because of the heavy weight of the compactor, we couldn't roll it out there until it got like 6 feet deep. And then it could stand it, or it would puncture through the waterproof seal on it. So we're kind of there again. That contractor had, that compactor had a 3-year lease, and it's run out. Justice Burge and Judge Nelson had discussed this last fall. They both recognized that the lease was going to run out and that we were going to have to do something different. The terms of the lease that Judge Carney had entered into is kind of one of those lease purchase things. County had the option to purchase it at the end of the lease, which just ended. But that's why we did the 3-year lease at that time, was because usually after 3 years in that environment, those pieces of equipment are not worth very much. They're just wore out. It's just a terrible environment. So it looks like Judge Nelson has gone ahead and entered into a new 3-year lease agreement for a new compactor. And Judge Burge has no problems with that at all. Then on the excavator, and I take it the judge isn't coming, am I assuming right?
No, he has a meeting.
Has a meeting? Okay. On the excavator, Judge has entered into a lease purchase for an excavator at the road department. And you're saying that the payments on that are $2,815.04 a month? So what's our total appropriation that needs to be done there?
$33,780.48.
Is that additional?
That's a new piece of equipment, I guess. You chairman of the road department?
I am,
Or the road committee?
I am,
Yeah. Has the judge discussed it with you at all or anything?
no.
Any comments, thoughts?
It'd just be blind thinking if I said anything. I'm sure he needs it or he would have bought it, that'd be my guess.
Well, you know, he has the full authority over the money, but it's just kind of nice to be informed, knowing what's going on, but I have no problem with it.
Well, that would come out of the road department budget, right?
Yes, sir.
Not out of general fund.
No, it comes out of the road department budget. So, anybody got any questions about either one of those pieces of equipment? One other item of business that I knew that we had, we've got an employee that works in the Leesville Manila Assessor's Office or Collector's Office. Has a husband that has a body shop that would like to do some business with the county. Thoughts, Susan? Isn't that one of your employees or?
Yes, I don't think he does body work, does he?
That's what it said in the,
I don't think he does right now, he may have that in his future plans, though, I haven't talked to him, but he's got a pretty big shop out there,
Yeah,
but he's got it covered up too, I mean,
Yes, he's busy. I think from what I've heard, does a good job and good business. And I mean, they're good people as far as I know.
Would like at least the opportunity, Kelly, to do business with us is,
No, they already have. That's why I was saying.
ah,
Oh,
That's
Okay.
how I found it, is because I saw a check written to him, and so.
but it wasn't for body work, was it?
No, I think that's just his name, Salomon Auto Body Shop or something.
Oh, I don't know.
why don't
The
we go
work
ahead
was
and-
some kind of repair or something.
why don't we go ahead and approve it in case it happens again?
Yeah, because
And the
I think Tucker's done,
Tucker's through
I think so,
on that side of the lake.
yeah. And that doesn't leave him, anybody over there except him.
Well, in the past, you know, when people would come to us and ask to do business, or at least have the opportunity to do business, we're required to pass an ordinance that would recognize that there is some kinship and relationship to the county here, and can't remember anybody we've ever turned down. Does anybody have any issues with putting an ordinance out there allowing us to do business with this individual? Can y'all add that into?
Did you say he's a county employee now, or he's related to a county?
No, his
wife is-
his wife is a
I got
county
you, I got you.
employee. She works in the collector assessor's office that rotates between Manila and Lewisville.
Gotcha.
Which brings a question that you may have been asked this on, when she's not there, can't think of her first name,
Kim?
Kim Solomon?
No, Ashley.
Ashley. When she's not there, I went to renew a set of licenses the other day and she wasn't there. Is there nobody to take her place at that office at that time?
The only thing would be if Harley sends someone from his office at Blythe or at Osceola to do that.
Okay, well, I had to make a phone call to some office and get a number of some sort to
Yeah.
do that, which wasn't that much trouble, but I just didn't know why we were, and she told me it was Harley's office that it would have to come out of.
Now, he has someone in his office that can assess and collect also, besides Ashley. But in my office, we do not have anyone that can assess.
Okay. Well, that's what that's what we had to call for, was to make the assessment.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, we'll add that into our order of business. We got one appropriation. We can do both those appropriations in the same ordinance, I think.
Should be able to.
Yeah,
I just have to break the excavator down into principal and interest, so
Yeah.
it'll look different than that total we just said. But we have to do it that way since it's a lease to purchase.
right. Okay, is that
And
all right then?
The total will be the same, it'll be three
Three line
line
item.
items.
Yeah. do you want to talk any at all about the throwback and the process that you're going through? And, you know, every year, we go through the budgetary process after the beginning of the year where we're still paying 2019 bills in 2020. And that's the reason that I was talking about the report this time over 130 pages long, because she includes all those in there and she puts them in and then has to back them back out to reflect back into the 2019 budget. So any discussion or anything you want to?
We usually do that through the end of February, but last year, and I think the year before, we noticed that we were pretty much done with it mid-February. I'm gonna look this week, we may not have to do any more, thankfully, but on the February report, you'll have from February 1st until at least last Friday of throwbacks. But we have to have a stopping point so that we can finalize everything and go on.
And then you feel comfortable with planning on the cleanup budget in March, in our March meeting?
I hope so. We're going through, I mean, we've had a lot of problems and a lot of changes.
Software or?
We haven't got to start that yet. They actually came last Wednesday, but I wasn't able to be there, so I didn't get to meet with them, but I was gonna get with Peggy and see. I haven't even had a chance to get with her today, but it shouldn't be long before we can start that, but, you know, that's just gonna be one more thing added to our plate.
Big plate. Peggy, you got anything that we need to be aware of or know about or do about or?
No, not really. They will be coming back, Apprentice will be coming back real soon to meet with Norris and mostly discuss the server issue and talk about that, and because eventually, I guess it's not too early to say, you know, eventually maybe the collector's office and Harley's office will probably be going on that also, and
You're talking about the same software y'all will be using? Really? Everybody will be speaking the same language?
Yes.
That'll be the first time ever.
well, that will be hopefully a good thing, because, well, for example, you know, in Susan's office, when they collect money, when she gets on Apprentice, then, you know, their collections can automatically be fed to our distributions in my office. Instead of us, the way we do it now, you know, we have to, you know, manually distribute everything. When they collect it, you know, it can automatically be distributed, you know. I mean, it can work the way it's supposed to if everybody's on the same. But
Same software.
it's, but he's, you know, he's got, the next step, they said last week, is for them to come back and discuss the server, and, which they say that the server that, you know, Kelly has now is large enough for everyone, you know. I guess everyone will be splitting the cost, you know, of that. But that's
And
what
that
he's
won't
coming
slow
back
everybody
for.
down with it if we try to run everything through one.
According to Norris, he said, I don't guess it will. I mean, I guess that's what they're gonna be discussing.
You know, we've had those issues in the old
Yeah.
courthouse before where too many people would get on at the same time and nobody
Yeah.
could get anything done.
I guess that's some of the things they're gonna be discussing. And they're supposed to be doing that real soon, and then it's supposed to pick up after that.
You're getting a little further into it now. You feel as excited about this new system coming on as you did when you were looking at it to begin with?
Well, I mean, I'm excited for them to come on. I mean, I'm already there.
But bringing over the financial management.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, honestly, this looks like it's gonna be the best that we've ever had the courthouse integrating and working together.
I mean, I personally don't think that they will be disappointed. I think it is a very user-friendly software, and I don't think they'll be disappointed at all.
How's account balances in general? You feeling good about everything?
Yeah, I think everything is still good except for senior citizens. They're in the red still. We've already made our transfer first week of this month. But,
Let's talk about them just a second. Can we talk about them just a second?
We probably should.
Would you mind briefing them a little bit on what you and I kind of talked about?
Well, when we were working on the 2020 budget, Justice White and I and Amanda and Miss Barbara, we worked really hard on trying to get them to balance, and they just couldn't. They were having to relay to us some cuts that they were being told about from East Arkansas. So the revenues came down, which meant that their expenditures had to come down, and they had to come down quite a bit. So they cut food quite a bit. They don't know how they are going to be able to make it through the year. There were some other line items that they cut by quite a bit. The other thing that they agreed to do was lose an employee. So they do not have a janitor for their building. And the janitor, last day was December 31st. And from that point on, the lady felt bad for them, and she actually continues to go up there without pay and try to help. But Miss Barbara called and said that they can't keep up, that they haven't been able to keep up with cleaning the bathrooms and different things like that. And she was really upset and frantic, really, and asking me to please present to y'all if there's any way possible that you could help them, and let you appreciate it. And I know that she just meant in the way of that part-time employee is what she was talking about, but. So I relayed that information to Justice White, but as Ms. Peggy said, their account is in the red. So we had contacted them about that, her and Amanda both, and let them know that their account was not looking real good, but they're trying to do what they can.
Senior Citizens is supported by state, feds, and then the county. When we got in trouble with the hospitals, 2008, 2009, 2010, and we just simply didn't have the money, we actually got the senior citizens, the county portion of the senior citizens budget down to $40,000. I'd actually kind of forgotten that, and Judge Nelson reminded me not long ago that we had it down that far, and that was in 2010. As we've gotten in better shape, the county has honestly increased our portion of the budget that we share with the senior citizens, to the point that the last 2 years, going on 3 now, we're putting in, and correct me if I'm wrong, $238,000. We've upped almost $200,000 in the last 10 years how much we contribute to keeping the senior citizens open. Back in those tough days when we got it down to 40,000 is when they closed some of the smaller portions, like down in Justice Norvell's area. That we had to close that Joyner Center down there. We narrowed the services down. We, they just had to do less with more, or do more with less, I guess. But now the county has constantly increased our contributions. It's the state and fed that has been cutting and cutting and cutting. They cut last year, they cut this year. Costs go up, expenditures go up. So they had like a $60,000, if I remember correct, $61,000 shortfall between revenues and expenditures when they presented their budget to us. Even with our $238,000, they were still $61,000 short. The only way the only thing we could have done is increase how much money we wanted to give to the senior citizens. You've heard a little bit about what they're doing there. I've actually been to the senior citizens in Manila a few times lately. In fact, I was there last Friday with my mom for Valentine's Day, and spoke with them, son. Besides what they're talking about, that's just some of the few things that they need. They need a van. They need more people. They need more food. We've discussed bumping them up, and we've discussed bumping them down. And I just can't stand the thought of ever taking them down. But Have y'all got any thoughts, discussion about where we are with the senior citizens and the money that the county provides to them, that $238,000?
Well, I see the senior citizens as equal to our veterans. We need to take care of them if at all possible, but may get to the point where we can't continue doing it. That's 500% that we increased it this year, from 40,000 to 200 and something.
Well, no, we've done that over a 10-year period, that we brought it up. That, you're right, $200,000 over a 10-year period that we've increased their funds, their appropriations.
Just, if I'm looking at this right, on page 89, they spent 43% of their budget on maintenance on their vehicles already. Looks like they only had 1,000.
That was one of the lines, we just had to cut it down to nothing, but their vehicles are so old, you know, they've been asking for years now. You know, if there's any, they would come to finance or during budget time and say if there's, and I know they've talked to this judge, you know, if there's any way possible that anything comes up where y'all can help us with vehicles, they would really appreciate it, whether it be grants or, you know, giving them old sheriff vehicles. I mean, anything, because their vehicles are so old that they do spend a lot of money on.
Repairs and maintenance, just trying to keep them on the road. And then we're putting our oldest citizens in some of those vehicles.
And oldest vehicles, yeah.
And
What
trying
kind
to
of vehicles, I mean, what all kind of vehicle, I know they use some trucks to deliver food.
Like the food trucks with the heat.
Yeah, they've got a heated compartment on the back.
The only place they actually cook meals is here in Blythe.
And then they deliver them
They
to
deliver 'em.
Nola and to Osceola.
That's right. And that includes Meals on Wheels. We're doing like over 8,000 delivered Meals on Wheels.
What kind of sacrifices are we talking about? More or less vehicles?
I think it's all monetary. I think it boils down to money that the federal government has cut us out of in the last few years. I think that's what they're looking at.
Their budget, their overall budget, if you look on page 90, if you printed pages, page 90, $577,790. And they've got 3 accounts, but we had zeroed those other 2 accounts, just trying to centralize it and get a grip on exactly where we were at.
Best I can tell, they're not doing anything in Leachville now.
No, they're not. We closed that down.
Yeah.
Leachville closed down, Joyner closed down.
It looks like here they've only spent 8% or 6% of their budget, and they're already in the red. Is that because the state hasn't sent them money, or the feds haven't? Or did we just cut them that much?
We didn't cut. Now, that's
Yeah, let's get that straight.
Well, we did cut something. We cut something out of their maintenance budget, because they've already spent 43% of it.
well, now when you say,
And we've cut them.
they set their budget,
Right.
Amanda and Miss Barbara, they set how they want it. We give them money, and then they have to set their budget as to how they want to spend that money. So, you know, any cuts that were made are just cuts that they took and tried to make,
Okay.
trying to get their revenues to match their.
I'm not really saying we cut them. What I'm asking is, if they've only spent 6% of their budget, there has to be a shortfall somewhere else. Is that shortfall coming because the state is not paying them in a timely manner, or the Fed's not paying in a timely manner? You know, do we know where that's coming from?
That's part of it. Now, that is part of it, but another part is, when they set their budget, because of the state and federal cuts, they weren't gonna make budget to begin with.
Just wasn't enough.
There just wasn't, they were a little over $60,000 short when they presented their budget because of the state and federal cuts. So the only way they're ever gonna make budget is if we come in and try to help. And that comes out of county general. And I'm not opposed to this, I'm not, I'm just throwing this out for everybody to talk about. We've got 8 of us here today. You know, how important is it?
Well, if you're out campaigning right now, apparently it's real important. I'm hearing a lot about it.
Well, I'm not campaigning, and it's still important.
Well, it is. I mean,
Well, I'm definitely out campaigning, and it is important.
yeah, there's a,
Very.
It's not one of those things, it's just, you know, to me, I'm like, Bill, these guys.
Veterans and
everybody's
seniors,
important
yeah.
as our senior
Well,
citizens.
A lot of your seniors are your veterans too, so.
That's true too.
Okay, so we've not increased them the last 2 years. We haven't cut them, but we've not increased them, correct, Kelly? I mean, I look to you to kind of
I think it's been.
tell me if I'm wrong on some of this
Yeah,
stuff,
well,
but we haven't increased them,
Right,
but we haven't cut them.
in at least 2 years.
Yeah.
I think that they've been getting that 238 for,
Quite some time.
But they have
Yeah.
been getting cuts from the federal and state.
how much of that is federal and how much is state? Is there, or can you tell by what you get?
Peggy may be able to tell you more about that. I don't see that.
Why don't we ask them to come to our next finance meeting and tell us what they need and
I agree.
tell us what those cuts were.
They might be able to answer that.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to answer a lot more questions than what anybody in this room can answer, and we can get more informed, and we can figure out what they need, and we can try to go forward and.
See if we can't help them.
If there is a way to help them.
I
You
agree.
know, we may just be at a point where we can't, but I would like to know that we exhausted every opportunity first.
Well, those meals are important to a lot of those people.
Oh, well,
Oh,
It
yeah,
may be the only one some of them get.
Yes.
yes, it is.
I mean, seriously, it may be the only meal that some of those people get. And
One hot meal a day.
one hot meal a day.
And sometimes you're the,
I mean,
Michael, can I say something, please?
yes, ma'am.
I worked for the senior citizens for a few months, and I did the meal delivery, and sometimes that person is the only person that senior sees ever, you know? So it is important that they have the Meals on Wheels where they can go in, at least see that person, let that person. see
Almost a
somebody.
wellness check
Yes,
situation.
exactly.
It is, because I delivered meals like
Yes.
she's talking about, and it is the wellness check.
And I've been into some places that are pretty bad.
We deliver from the state line all the way down to the county line, south end, and all the way over to the county line on the west side.
I've been seeing that same little old truck for years.
Yeah, you know,
When they talk about vehicles, are the employees furnished vehicles any of the,
The
No.
delivery people are, right?
Yeah, the
No, I'm
East
talking about-
Arkansas gives them the vehicles that they have.
yeah, but now they don't take them home and
No.
it's not like a sheriff's department or somebody.
Well, I
like
think
that.
looking at giving them sheriff's department vehicles is,
Well, they're wore out by the time.
that's what I was going to say, the sheriffs won't get rid of them because they've got twice as many miles, or engine hours as they do miles on them.
Well, I think Justice Norvell hit it right on the head. I think we need to ask them to come in and let's be a little bit more specific. Now, they did do this during the budget
I
process,
remember.
but it was back in October, November, and,
much of us have slept since then.
let's just be honest. If you look at it, they already, what they spent on there, and I realize we cut their budget for.
Once again, we didn't cut their budget.
Well, even Kelly said we cut that down to $1,000.
yes.
I don't know how much it was prior to. But, you know, even if we could look at maybe something as a one-time deal, if you got them more efficient vehicles, because we all know that the older a vehicle gets, and some of those I've seen are pretty old. If you put them in a better vehicle, it might get better mileage. You won't have any repair bills for about 3 years, 2 to 3 years, depending on the mileage. But, you know, let them come in and bring some ideas. I agree with you. But, you know, I was trying to figure out where gas was. I said we didn't allow them anything on, or there's nothing in their budget
get
on
one?
tires.
I wonder who they could talk to about
A grant.
the grant.
But their fleet insurance is like $7,200 a year.
know, this is a little selfish.
What do they need those 15 fast?
Look at the age group you're talking to here.
Use mine.
I think I'm the oldest one up in this
Oh, I
building.
thought he was pointing at me for a minute there.
You 38?
I'm 77. I'm gonna look at 78.
If you went to a 9-passenger
I
instead of
need
750.
to meet, I need to.
So the take I'm getting from the court at the moment, I've had some blowback, I've had some
Oh, I have
pushback
too.
before in trying to increase the senior citizens' budget a little bit.
You need one.
And that's why we kind of capped out at 238, but at least y'all are open
You can
to
afford to buy the
listening.
cafe.
If we have them come back in and talk to us again. And
Definitely.
And so if we ask them to
I think we
come,
need to listen.
Yes, and I think all of us can get a better understanding.
I mean, they're not gonna make it if somebody doesn't help. And it doesn't look like the state or feds is gonna come.
And we don't have to wait till the next finance committee meeting. I mean, they could come in earlier. We'd call a special meeting. That's whatever's
I would be
convenient.
fine with that.
Yeah, I'll come in.
You wanna talk to Amanda and see what she can put together, and then I'm just like Justice Norvell, if we could call a special and just come and talk to them. And,
She will be appreciative, I'm sure.
well, I mean, honest to goodness, this has nothing to do with anybody's election, this is taking care of our senior citizens.
I wasn't aware of it until it was brought to my attention on the campaign trail, if you don't know. I mean, I knew it had been cut. And I knew that they were having trouble making budget at their, the last time around.
In our budgetary process back in the fall, when we were working on that, we didn't cut, but the question that was raised at that time, can we keep making up every state and federal cut?
Yeah.
But if we don't do some of it, they're the ones paying the price.
Yeah.
And, when you start talking about a janitor, they've almost got that janitor.
And she's doing it for nothing at the moment. All right, so if everybody's okay, we're gonna let Kelly talk to Amanda and Miss Barber, get them, put their presentation together for us, and
What's that? Not that I've seen.
our next regular court meeting is a week from tonight, but that has no bearing on anything. You just kind of find what would be a good time for them, and yeah, that's a farmer wanting some prices. Thank you. I don't know of anything special that we've got coming up that would be conflicting particularly. Just set a time for us and talk to Cindy, and maybe between all y'all, we can get together and see. And yeah, Susan, I'd like to have you come back again since you've been there, and get the press here, and we'll see what we can do. We can't promise to do the $60,000, but we can sure give them an ear and see what we can do. We're not broke anymore.
Well, she asked a question about a grant. Is there a possibility that they could receive grants to do anything with?
Absolutely. I don't know I'm not a grant specialist, but there's all kinds of grants out there, yes. The
Are
problem.
they aware of them?
I have no idea. Your usual problem are people that can find the grants and write the grants.
Yeah, yeah.
We got one. We're paying her for that, and that's Tamika.
Yeah, Tamika's one of the
Maybe we
best grant writers that I've ever
We need
seen.
to
so.
invite her to this
The
meeting.
problem is, a lot of times
You
you
know what,
have
that's not a bad
grants
idea.
That's
that
what
are
I
wonder
was
if she would come.
saying. What
She
about
would.
her or
And
Bo?
finding one that is specific.
Bo McCollum?
Yeah. I mean, he does too, doesn't he?
Yes.
Who?
Bo
Bo
McCollum?
McCollum
Well,
or
I know he
Tamika,
brought
either
a bunch
one.
for the city of Etowah, and we got everything he needed writing those grants.
Maybe we could ask them both to come.
He's pretty good too.
I think he is too.
You're hiding from me back there.
This is a countywide problem. Get as many people involved as you can.
Well, let's do that. Let's see if we can ask both Bo and
I think Bo would
Tamika
be
to come
good.
as grant writers.
His heart would be
And
good.
they might find a private grant company like, I know when we opened the charitable clinic, we had someone approach us, it was a private foundation.
Progress?
And
You know,
offered, told us we could write a
Progress.
grant up to $100,000. That
Maybe.
might be enough to buy
Oh,
this vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not be, Mary Jackson's got a bunch of grants to do with the streets in Birdsong. I mean, everything down there's been redone, paid. Sissy did it in Joyner, I mean, there must be.
They get together and help each other out.
You got any orders of business that the committee needs to do before our regular court meeting?
No.
guys, there's 8 of us here, and, you know, we're technically finance committee, but I really would encourage everybody to come when we get with these senior citizens people and listen to what they've got to say, and even maybe encourage the people that aren't here, which 2 of them are sick, and they just couldn't help that. That'd put us up to 10, and I guess pretty much all of us, but we'll try to get a meeting set and get together here within the next 2 weeks, and listen to see what they've got to say and see if we can offer them some help. Miss Janice, County Clerk Curry.
What's up?
First day of early voting, how goes it?
It's going well.
The new machines, it's actually more what I'm asking about than anything. How's things
I've
going?
gotten positive feedback on it,
No real big hiccups or anything?
not that I'm aware of,
Got everything set up everywhere?
at all of our early vote sites, yes.
Do you know off the top of your head, and this isn't fair to ask it just like that, but do you know how many polling places that we have for early voting in the county? Like
3.
6 or 8 or what?
3.
3. Manila, Blyville, and Osceola? And then the Manila one is gonna rotate after this week over to Leachville?
Spend the whole week in Leachville?
Spend the whole week, but that following Monday, there will be no early voting in Manila or Leachville. The Monday before the election.
Do you want to address the enhanced capabilities of the system as far as people that can vote in Blyville or people that can vote in Osceola? I mean,
This year, we set it up, excuse me, and they're not called vote centers, but we set it up similar to what a vote center is. If you're on the north end of the county and you're working on the north end of the county, you can go, say your normal polling place is Manila. You could come to the election center and vote early. Same thing in Osceola. If you lived anywhere in the south end of the county, you could come to the courthouse and vote
in Osceola.
in Osceola.
And that's taking place this time around? Okay.
Just in those 2 places, though, Osceola
And Bob?
Blyville.
Okay.
The election commission actually sets the polling positions or places, don't they, Janice? Do you know how many they'll have for the March 3rd election?
18.
18. And how many voting machines will we be using?
Depends on the location. Most of the smaller ones will have at least 2 because the law requires we have one for a handicap and hearing disabled. So in the regular one, and then in the larger ones, we'll probably have anywhere from 3 to 5.
Not every county in Arkansas actually went to the new systems yet, have they?
They couldn't afford them.
So we're one of the first in the state,
We were lucky.
and very fortunate that we were in a position to be able to afford them.
Yeah, there are still counties that don't have them because we got a request from 2 counties last week asking for our old equipment, but we had already sent it back.
Do you have anything that the committee needs to deal with today?
No, sir.
So when is it that y'all need the U-Haul thing? Is that next Monday?
We used it Saturday. We moved equipment Saturday.
Okay.
So we'll need it next Monday again to haul all the equipment to the polling locations. Because we moved equipment to Manila here and Osceola Saturday.
I don't know whether we got an account open or not.
She paid for it out of her pocket because we needed it and couldn't wait all day. Melissa Logan.
She does that. She needs to stop that.
I know.
We need to figure out how to reimburse
Well,
her.
we're trying, I mean, we can reimburse her, but we tried to get, we're working on getting an account set up through U-Haul, so with Sunray, through Sunray, but we have to do it through U-Haul. But we didn't know if we would be able to do it quick enough, so anyway.
Apparently not, but that's okay. But we sure need to tend to her and make sure she.
Maybe we can do it before next week, I don't know.
Do you have any business for us, Peggy?
No, our revenues for January were good, better than what we projected. However, our payment in lieu of taxes, we did not receive our pilot money from the power plant at Dale.
Really?
Well, I called them and they said they mailed it at the end of December.
Checks in the mail.
I've
It's
said
in the
that
mail, that's what I was
a lot. I've
thinking.
said that a lot. You could already have that.
That's where,
That's
we-
one point.
and since they're low on money,
We still have not received it, so she told me last week that she would put a stop payment on all three of them and send us another one. That's a lot of money
Where's she
Yeah.
sending them to, Peggy?
Significant.
up here,
Susan, you have anything for us, dear?
Walnut Street.
Well, that's what it is. We
Well,
were
it
could be
3 or 4
anywhere.
months getting payments.
Because they take it
I know
right up to
that,
the
but I
post
mean, that's
office.
just ridiculous, though.
It is.
I don't know what's happening to that mail.
It
They're
goes,
holding it at the post office.
it goes to
because-
Memphis.
And then to Jackson to be forwarded.
But then it comes back to Blauville and they hold it.
They don't ever
because
come
They
back.
had mailed for us that they've had since November. We got it, we just getting it.
Really?
Yeah. And it's been just sitting in a box over there at the post office.
Because people are adding the Walnut Street address to it, is that the reason?
So it
Instead of
goes to
just
all
the
those
post office
places
box.
and then it comes back to Blauville and they just throw it in a box until somebody decides to do something with it.
Guys, that's all the business I have. I would like to welcome Ms. Harlams Mangus again, joining us, candidate Mangus. Any questions, anything from any of the JPs? If not, Tuesday night in Osceola, gang. Look forward to seeing everybody. We'll call a meeting adjourned. Thank you.